Speed, class, pedigree, and development all collide here in this important race on the Kentucky Derby Trail. The Grade 3 Southwest Stakes isn't just any prep race. Oh no, this is where Derby dreams either get very real or quietly fade away. The track is fair. The posts are fair. The only question is, who's actually ready for this step? And with 14 horses in the field, how are you going to find your winner? Facts and figures are going to give you that winning edge. I give you the stats, you make the picks. Hi, it's Maura from Trifecta and a little bit extra, and this is your Southwest Stakes preview. Run at Oaklawn Park on Saturday, January 31st, going 1 mile and 1/16 on the dirt. This race awards 20 Kentucky Derby points to the winner. And it brings together a 14-horse field full of talent, but also full of question marks. The challenge is going to figure out who's real and which ones are just fast early. Now, before we get started going horse by horse, I must remind you of this. Horse betting is not legal in every state, so if you're betting, make sure it's legal. We start with Reclamation in post position 1, trained by Christopher Davis. This is a lightly raced colt with only 2 starts, both here at Oaklawn and both 6 furlongs. 1 win, and in that win, he went right to the lead and never looked back. He won by 4 lengths and earned a 75 buyer. But he had first-time Lasix, and that can move a horse forward. The upside? Only 2 starts, room to improve. And Ramon Vasquez, one of the top riders here at Oaklawn, is aboard. But here's the conflict. Speed figure, light compared to some of the other contenders. And the distance is a real question. He's by Caro, who isn't exactly known for producing routers. Now, Reclamation, he looks fast early. But the real question is going to be what's left to reclaim late. For me, not a top contender. Now on to Decode in post position 2. He cracked the speed code, but now he has to rewrite it for the longer distance. Trained by Ray Ashford Jr., he has top rider Luis Saez aboard. Now Decode has only run once, but boy, did he announce himself. $100,000 maiden race at Oaklawn Park, 6 furlongs, field of 11. And guess what? He obliterated them. 8-length win, but that's not all. 99 buyer. That is the best speed rating in the field, but also second highest speed figure by a 2-year-old in 2025. Wow. He went 22 flat, 45 and change, and just kept on going. That is real speed. So what's the problem? Same question as Reclamation. Can he stretch out? He's by Speightstown, who has above average statistics as a sire of dirt routers, with top progeny like Olympiad, who won graded stakes races like Stephen Foster, Ali Sheba, Jockey Club Gold Cup, longer distance graded stakes races. The Dam Sire is Twirling Candy, who was also competitive at the longer distances. The concern? The trainer doesn't win often stretching out for the first time, and the dam herself has only won sprinting. Now, this horse most likely wants to be on the lead. Massive talent, I can't ignore, but he's going to need to prove the distance to me. Now onto a horse, brings the jet fuel, but only if he gets on that plane. Buetane is the wild card. Now, he was cross-entered into the Holy Bull, not making it to that race because his plane was grounded. He may or may not even make it to Oaklawn Park. But if he does, this $1.15 million purchase, trained by Bob Baffert, by Tiz the Law, and ridden by Joel Rosario, that alone gets your attention. 3 starts, always on the board. Wins first time out at Del Mar sprinting, 83 buyer, then steps right into the grade 1 hopeful at Saratoga, where he goes wide and still finishes second, only behind 2-year-old champion Ted Nafi. Then in the grade 2 San Vicente, he breaks into another horse at the start, but somehow finishes second with a 92 Beyer, and that's one of the top in the field. So what's the question? The distance. The longest he's gone? 7 furlongs. But 'tis the law. Hey, he answered that question himself, and he sired Tistastic, who ran third in this race last year and won the Louisiana Derby at the longer distance. Add in those blazing fast workouts, and suddenly the question becomes, if he runs, can you afford to leave him out? Because I don't think he can. For me, he is a top contender. Now, if you're finding this information useful, go ahead and hit that like button, and also subscribe to the channel to get more racing insights like this. And also stick with me, because the middle of the field, that's where this race gets interesting. The next horse is fascinating and may get overlooked given his last performance. Post position 4, we have Rancho Santa Fe. Rancho Santa Fe came into the Smarty Jones undefeated. 2 wins, proven at this distance, a mile and a 16th, and then everything went wrong for him. He broke a step slow. He sat near the back in an 8-horse field, went extremely wide, and finished 5th with a 71 Beyer. Not inspiring. Now, prior to that, his best speed rating was a 78. That is not flashing. Pick me, pick me. But here's the thing. He's got Brad Cox as a trainer. He's getting Flavien Prat, who just won an Eclipse Award, as his jockey, and together they win at a 33% rate. Now, he's by Tappet, which means the farther he goes, the happier he's going to be. But all the horses that beat him in the Smarty Jones, they are back in this race. He's going to need to take a massive step forward. But with this team, that could happen. For me, not at the top of my list, but he's not a horse that I'm going to ignore. We're moving on, and our next horse sits at the top of the class. Post position 5, Litmus Test, the only graded stakes winner in the field, and he's been dancing with the best since day one. 5 starts, 2 wins, and 1 show. 4, count them, 4 graded stakes entries. Faced Elite Company, Del Mar Futurity, Breeders' Futurity, Breeders' Cup Juvenile, all grade 1 races. But get this, never made the winner's circle. Then finally wins in the grade 2 Los Alamitos Futurity, this distance. Now that win, 96 Beyer speed rating, stalking, pouncing, professional. He already ran a 95 Beyer rating at this distance in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. This is one of the best numbers in the field. He's by Nyquist, an $875,000 purchase. Proven at this trip, trained by Bob Baffert, gets Juan Hernandez aboard. No mystery here. He is a top contender. Litmus Test is exactly that. If you can beat him, you belong. Post position 6 is occupied by Circle Tap, trained by Dallas Stewart, ridden by Ricardo Santana Jr. 5 starts to break his maiden. He did it here at Oaklawn, this distance, and that matters. But the 69 Beyer speed rating just doesn't stack up. His career best is a 74, but that was back in September. And that's simply not enough against this group of contenders. Unless he jumps forward in a way we haven't seen yet, for me, he's not a top contender. When I think of our next contender, all I can hear is Liberty, 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 Liberty. Post position 7, Liberty National, trained by Kenny McPeak. He has Brian Hernandez Jr. in the irons. 3 starts, a win and a place. The win in the place, this distance. That win had a 4-length advantage and earned him a solid 81 Beyer speed rating at Churchill Downs. Now the place, solid 2nd finish in the Gunrunner Stakes, 80 Beyer speed rating. The horse that beat him, though, he could only manage 4th in the Comp Stakes. Now he's by Maxfield, and what that means is the longer he goes, the better he may be, because Maxfield, he excelled at the distances beyond a mile and a 16th. The catch, he really needs improvement, but with only 3 starts, that improvement is possible. And if the pace collapses, He could declare independence. With that late speed, he has blazing late speed. Not my top choice, but definitely on my radar. Post position 8, we have Spirit of Royal. Trained by Dallas Stewart, he gets Francisco Arrieta as his jockey. 6 starts with a win and a place. Spirit of Royal finally broke his maiden last time out after 5 tries, but the speed is a bit light. He did it at a mile here at Oaklawn, made a really nice late run, but the 66 Beyer speed rating is his best so far. His previous races, all less than a mile. Yes, more distance may help. He's by Global Campaign, who like to go long, but as a sire, his stats don't say he has above average wins for dirt routers. For me, Spirit of Royal is not a top contender. Now onto a horse who, in my opinion, is a top contender. Post position 9 is occupied by Strategic Risk. Trained by Mark Casse, he is 2 for 2 at this distance. And his last 2 races, both had Javier Castellano aboard, and he stays on the mount for this race. Now he crushed a restricted stakes race in November by 9 lengths, and he earned an 83 Beyer speed rating. Then he comes back, wins the Smarty Jones here at Oaklawn, stalking and drawing off, winning by, get this, 4 lengths, 87 Beyer. Now that is the second top speed rating for this distance in this field. Yes, that race, the pace was slow, but here's the part that I love. He exploded anyway. Castellano said, hey, that stride felt strong and steady. Mark Casse said the way he pulled down the stretch spoke volumes. Now remember this, Mark Casse really knows this horse. He trained the sire and he trained the dam. That doesn't sound like a fluke. Is he facing some tougher company now? Absolutely. But right now, he's improving at the right time. And in my opinion, Strategic Risk looks like a gamble that keeps paying off. Top contender. If this analysis is helping you handicap the Southwest, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. More Derby Trail coverage as well as horse racing education. Now let's finish strong here because the last few horses, real intrigue. But before we do that, I bet you're wondering, do these outermost posts actually stand a chance? Yes, they do. Sure, the win percentages, they go down a bit the further out you get, but the drop-off is not that dramatic. Last 2 years, winner Speed King, Mystic Dan, won from post position 10. Newgrange 2022, won from post position 10. And one liner, post position 11 in 2017. So yes, it can be done. The next horse is a bit sneaky. Coming out of post position 10, Bricklin. Trained by Rudolph Brousset, he gets Jaime Torres aboard. 4 starts, 2 wins. The Grade 3 Street Sense at Churchill Downs. Another Kentucky Derby prep race going this distance. Hey, that was not his race. He had a lot of trouble. He weakened, and he only earned a 60 Beyer. Finished 6th in a field of 7. Last time out, though, here at Oaklawn, different horse. Goes to the lead, duels. I love to see a duel. Tells me a horse has heart. He wins by 3 lengths, posts an 86 Beyer speed rating. But I want to point this out. First time Lasix in that race, and sometimes that can move a horse forward. Now that last race, that win, confidence builder, but tougher test this time. He's by Nyquist, and he's clearly moving forward. But here's the issue. He's likely to be involved early, and there is a lot of speed signed on for this race. Can he take another big step forward? Well, that's the question for him to answer. Now, the next horse is a horse I'm really excited about. Silent Tactic. Shh. He may not announce himself, but boy, does he keep showing up late. Trained by Mark Casse, he'll be ridden by Christian Torres. Silent Tactic has never missed the exacta. 3 starts and 3 routes, all at this distance. He won first time out at Woodbine on the synthetic. Earns a 74 Beyer speed rating. Then he places in the grade 3 Bet 365 Gray Stakes. He had to go wide, 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 and he only lost by 3/4 of a length, 71 Beyer speed rating. Then he comes here to Oaklawn Park for the Smarty Jones. And here is what really impressed me. This horse, he closed, but he closed into a slow pace way in the back. Now he was bothered all down the backside and he still finished second with an 81 Beyer. That is super hard to do. He gets more pace in this race, he gets a weight break, and he gets top Oaklawn rider. He'll need to step forward, but he's absolutely capable of doing it. In my opinion, win contender. The next horse, he ran the race of his lifetime last time out, but this chapter is a bit harder. Coming from post position 12, we have Baytown Dreamer. Trained by Paul McEntee, he'll be ridden by Orlando Bocachica. 9 starts with the most in the field. 1 win, 1 place, 3 shows. Now 5 of his starts, they were on the turf, and his speed ratings, they were kind of stuck in the mid-60s. But then we have his last race, the Smarty Jones. Now he was going off 84-1. He really outran his odds. He got 3rd place, 80 Beyer. That is a huge improvement. But for me, showing up here, it's hard to see another big jump forward to contend with some of these top horses. I really respect his effort, but for me, I'm going to have to pass. Post position 13, occupied by a horse that is battle tested, well-meant, and dangerous if he improves. We have Soldier and Diplomat. Trained by Steve Asmussen, he'll get ridden by Jose Ortiz. This is a horse that makes you stand at attention. He faced Ted Noffey in the G1 Hopeful and finished 4th. He ran 3rd in the G2 Kentucky Jockey Club against Further Ado. Now he wins a mile allowance race by, get this, 9 lengths. Earned his best Beyer yet. It's an 81. That 81 isn't flashy, but Steve Asmussen is the leading trainer here at Oaklawn Park. And this colt, we haven't seen him since November, and that means he may be poised to improve. He is a $950,000 purchase by Army Mule. He's got a stalking style, tactical speed. There is a lot to like here. He was even able to stalk the leader in that hot-paced Kentucky Jockey Club. Major upside, and in my opinion, he is a top contender. The horse starting from the outermost post has actually done his best work from the inside. Post position 14 is occupied by SleepingonFreedom, trained by Kenny McPeak with Emmanuel Esquivel in the irons. SleepingonFreedom has done some things right, but the setup doesn't really help him here. 2 wins, including 1 at this distance, but that came on a sloppy track, and he had ground saving inside position. Now he breaks far outside. He finished 4th in the Smarty Jones. He got another mid-70s Beyer speed rating. What's changing here? That's the question I can't answer. For me, not a top contender. Now's the most important part of the video. It is your turn. Tell me, who's your pick for the Southwest and why? Drop me a comment below. Y'all know I love the discussion. Now, this is a big step on the Kentucky Derby Trail. If this information helped you at all, go ahead and help me by hitting like. And if you want more analysis like this and horse racing education, some things you've never heard before, especially if you're a beginner, hit subscribe. I hope you all find your winner on Saturday and sashay away with your money. Until next time, cheers.